Hello amazing people, Aaron here, more 4x4. I love my life because I get to show you Deidre's adventure tourer build with that backdrop. I love my life, I have the best job on the planet. Stay tuned to the end because this is another awesome build. Look what they've created, look at what my people have created. It's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. So I wasn't sure if we were going to start down the back or up the front, but Pancho wanted me to start here with Deidre's Raslarr front bar. I want to let you know that we color code most bars, and that's typically to suit our clients' aesthetic values. I care about performance. I want to make sure it's going to work the way we intend it to. But Deidre's just wanted this black, right? We've got a black bar, black antenna, we've got black wheels and a black rebar, and it kind of all just works together. We have got here 21.5 inch steady light bar. Deidre doesn't do a lot of nighttime driving, so there wasn't lots of value for her in having, you know, all this extra lighting on the front, so we didn't spend too much time on that. But if you normally would drive at, you know, dusk or dawn or through the night, you know, this here in my mind is risk management. And sometimes all you might need when you're traveling out and about, if you want to avoid that animal strike type situation, sometimes it's just a little bit of awareness, that a bit of movement out of the corner of your eye. So lighting is risk management. So if you are spending a lot of time at night on the road, let's have some discussions about what that might look like for you. So this will give you a couple of 100 meters, you know, in depth, and it'll help, you know, with your peripheral, but you're not going to melt someone's face off with this type of lighting system. Deidre wanted the ability to be able to self-recover. So when you're engaging with us, we're going to ask you awesome questions about a winch. It's not to sell you stuff, but this is about a recovery plan. So if you have a recovery plan, if you have a winch in your recovery plan, it makes sense to do it while we're doing the bar, because in order to access this and retrofit a winch later, it's gonna cost you heaps of time, heaps of resources, and it's really not deliberate. So if a winch is in your recovery plan, do it at the same time. It makes so much sense. So this is a 12,000 pound carbon winch, really lightweight, fabulous after sales service. We do a fair bit of work with the team at Carbon. 4 dB antenna. This is by Axis. So we couple that with a Uniden UH9060 concealed unit, plug in the dash. You don't see any of it except the little connection where you plug your mic into. So this here is 4 dB of gain, right? So this antenna is designed for more mountainous terrain, geography. Even if you're a concrete cowboy and you want to call up your mates driving down George Street in the city, that's okay too. This is probably the right thing. So it's shorter, longer antenna, typically higher dB of gain, and that's designed, it's a skinnier and longer signal, so flat country. And so whether you guys are aware or not, but every Raslarr bar that we do comes with road safe recovery points. They are rated, and if you're wondering what that blue stuff is, that's actually what we call torque marker. It's an indicator for us that nothing's come loose or it hasn't been tampered with. So it's just an indicator. It's got a thread locking element too. So if something does find its way loose, it might actually stop it from undoing itself. So we keep getting asked about the purpose of a snorkel, and I just wanted to dive into that really quickly. Don't want to bore you with micro detail, but snorkels aren't just for deep water crossings. Snorkels actually have benefit for dust, right? So normally, the airbox is in the engine bay. there's a thin plastic panel between the tyre and inside this fender here. So the air normally gets sucked from inside that void in there, and just above the tyre. So when you're traveling around the country, this amazing country that we live in, and you're in dusty environments, where do you think the dust is going to go? It's dust is swirling around here inside this wheel arch. Where do you think it's going to end up? It's going to end up in your airbox. So by relocating the intake up to here, that we're actually targeting that cooler because the engine bay is in here, radiant heat. I mean, like I can feel this now, and I can feel the heat from the engine bay. Cooler, cleaner air. It kind of makes sense, right? The cooler the air going into your engine, the more efficient it is, the more bang for buck. The vehicle will figure out air temperatures and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm rambling. That makes sense. Safari. It's quieter than stainless steel snorkels. It faces forwards. If you run a hectic Staino snorkel, sound great, heaps of really noisy. The entry's right here. So if you want to talk to your passengers, or if you don't, I've had relationships that maybe that was all that noise there was a good thing. This makes a lot of sense. Plastic is naturally sound absorbing. So Safari, best people on the planet for snorkels. We are going to go micro with Safari. We're working out all the details now, but we're going to show you stuff about Safari that you may not have seen before. And I'm so grateful that the team actually want to work with us to show stuff that no one's ever seen before. And I'm so grateful. It's a great opportunity. We keep getting asked questions about what should I do, suspension, GVM questions. I have 11 to 13 conversations every single day about GVMs and capacities. The reality is, and I want to give you some rough numbers here, if you've got 200 kilos of humans and 350 kilos of ball load and 110 kilos worth of fuel, you're already at capacity. So we do more than anyone else in Australia. We do more 4.2 tonne GVM upgrades, pre-rego particularly. We do some post-rego. So part of that process is appropriately load-rated wheels. And for Deidre, we've chosen ROH crawlers. They're a 25 offset wheel. They look amazing. And colour scheme that I mentioned before, black, 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 black on white, stunning, love it. We have gone for a 295 7018 Maxxis AT Razor, most popular tyre for us by miles, absolutely. We have also done the Clearview Next Gens. That is a requirement because of this indicator. Pancho will show you some B-roll on that. This indicator needs to be category 6. So it's to do with compliance and vehicle categories and visibility. So it's super important. We can put one down here, but it kind of looks out of place. So on the front we've used Dobinson coils for this. So these are 50 to 100 kilo rated. So by the time we remove 23 kilos worth of bumper and stuff off the front, bumper, intrusion bar, brackets, all that, and we add the bar, lights, winch, UHF antenna, that's how it sits. It's a nice fit. And when you see the side profile, the stance is amazing. It looks very well proportioned. We've had a couple of changes on this job. We had kind of stage one, and then I think Deidre mentioned that she saw one of our videos and she was like, oh, I think I need a long range fuel tank. So we had some dialogue and I battle tested that with her, and we came to the realization that there was actually value in that for her. So when we do fit a long range tank, we need to relocate the spare tyre that's gone up on the back. And we also had to change our spring rates because it's not like a one size fits all arrangement with Y62. We have to be super deliberate about the springs that we deploy for the load that's on the vehicle when we build it. It's really challenging for us to find that balance for future load. because you want to do stuff later. So it's really, really important that we apply the right coil spring for the load that's on the vehicle. So we had to kind of undo some stuff from the first order because there was a change, and the timeline was just beautiful. So everything worked out really, really well. So in the back, what we've done is we've gone for a 250 to 350 Dobinson coil, and that will allow for some of the ball load. Airbags will make the difference. The airbags will help Deidre level it out when she's towing. But what that means is that this feels so settled and responsive and firm when it needs to be at higher speed. But then if you want to hit some rougher terrain, gravel roads, bit of corrugations, this vehicle feels like it's just going to eat it all up. This vehicle feels beautiful. I just want to let you know a bit more about the reasons why we have to upgrade the lower rear control arm. Pancho's going to link you to a card above that shows you the different arms that have been developed specifically for the 4.2 tonne GVM upgrade. Now the arms we use are actually from TSA, and we do more 4.2 tonne GVM upgrades than anybody in the country. So you're in the right place. If you're looking to align with us, just know that we build more Y62s than anybody else, especially in New South Wales. So reach out because I want to help you. So if you're kind of on the fence about whether you do a tow bar or a rear bar, maybe let's have some dialogue about that, because there's not actually much additional investment required to go from a standard tow bar, which does one thing really, to a rear bar, which does multiple things. And whether that's rear protection or fabulous built-in reverse lights, there's not actually much difference in investment. So if that kind of makes sense to you, then let's have some dialogue about it. The other thing that it actually does is that it gives you facility to mount the spare tire and the jerry can holders. So I really love Raslarr equipment, Australian made. Rob's fabulous. I have dialogue with him every week or every couple of weeks. And it's not always about work, it's about what's going on and how's business and when are we going to catch up and all that kind of thing. So having water on board is actually one of the 3 pillars that we need to handle on any adventure tourer build. And I mentioned in the last video, pillar 1, storage. Pillar 2, electrical. Pillar 3 is water. So figure out those 3 things and everything else kind of falls into place. So if you're not sure about how you need to do that, reach out and contact us. Communicate, call me, because I just want to give you guys value. So I hope this makes sense to you. The other thing that Rob does now is he provides everything that we need, including all of the connectors and wiring harnesses and bits and camera, reverse camera relocation systems. So this is an entire system for us. And Raslarr are great. After sale service, excellent. I love these people, truly. So I'm not actually sure, to be honest, when Rob and the team at Raslarr decided to make a change, but this latch system is next level. And Rob's a very, very clever man, but this here, right, is such a smooth action, and it's sprung loaded. So we're not relying on, any perceived mechanical stresses, because everything's here in this compression. This not compression, it's a bloody spring, but it just works. So if you're thinking about doing a 3rd row seat removal, great stuff. You lose 45 odd kilos by removing all the seats, but it was important for Deidre that we retain at least 1 seat, and we've chosen to do that on the driver's side of the vehicle. So when we remove the seats, we need a flat floor, because the fridge slide needs to be mounted dead flat. If it's not, it's going to be weird and the slide's not going to function properly. So super simple. We've done clips on that. Have a look at our other storage solutions video. And we have hidden a 110 amp hour Kangooie battery underneath this easily accessible. So in this case, we have chosen a CFX3 55 litre fridge from Dometic. It is also coupled with the Dometic fridge slide, and it's a normal straight slide. So it's not a drop slide. You can't use a drop slide in the back of this vehicle. So as part of any really thorough adventure build that we do, there's a couple of other things that are pretty well unseen. And in Deidre's case, we've hidden other electrical components, including an inverter, air compressor, and the really only visible sign that you've got for the air compressor is the outlet that's up on the cargo trim. So otherwise, you wouldn't even know it's there. And what we've done for Deidre, in front of the fridge space, there's actually quite a nice void there, so you can store whatever you want in there. But we've included some power outlets for easy access. And whether that's just charging, a laptop or a drone or whatever while you're driving, she's got that facility there. And we went really micro content to get this build really dialed in for Deidre and her family. So I don't blame you for thinking there's not much going on in the front here. There's actually a fair bit of work that we do in this space, but we want to keep everything as stealthy as possible. So what we've done here in the front, we utilize this center console trim for everything we can. We have a UHF RJ45 connector. So when you're traveling around, we hide the UHF head unit because there's no real estate in here or space for us to mount it. So it doesn't make sense. So we hide that up underneath in the dash, and all you're left with is a tiny little outlet. So we've also done the Red Arc brake controller. So you can adjust that from here, or passenger. The passenger can access it. And so one of the good things about putting it there is passenger, because if the location of that button is on the right hand side, it means that only you can adjust it. And that makes sense for a lot of people, and that's totally okay. But if you're in an emergency type situation and you need to make some adjustments, or the road surface has changed rapidly and you need to keep all attention facing forwards, that can be a great opportunity for you to improve your communication skills with your partner. What we've also done here is a front e-locker. So we do a bit of work with Harrop, and we're super grateful for that interaction. What we've also done as part of that front locker process is that we've also included an on-track billet front diff cover and drop. So when we're doing these adventure tourer builds, we're going to ask you a few questions about how you want to control your airbag systems. For some, it makes sense that we put it up the front here. And in the case when we're including more advanced storage systems in the rear, we might put the control systems in the rear for you. So in Deidre's vehicle, what we've actually done is we have put it up the front here. And Pancho is going to link you to our YouTube video that shows you about how we integrate this system into. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way to the end. I'm super grateful that you've taken time out of your life to engage with us. If you need to know anything, please reach out. We are so experienced. We're happy to guide you in the right direction. I love my life because look at that.